Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Amanda. So it was asked that I do another extreme budget challenge, so that's what I'm going to do this week. I have set a little bit of a higher budget for myself just because that $50 budget for 4 people for the week was super tight. So I am going to do $65 for the week this time. That way I can add in a little bit more meat products and maybe some more dairy as well. So I am going to show you what I come up with for that $65 for this week for my family of 4.
So I originally was going to get these apples as they were on sale, but then I eyed up the clearance produce thing and I found these pears for $1. I found more apples and some onions. Then I went over and I picked up some oats. I got some peanut butter. These, I find the orange flags are pretty confusing because they're not actually a sale. It's just their regular price and they make you think that it's a sale. But it was still the best deal for what I could get. Then the bread and the buns were on 2 for $5.50, so I got 1 bread and 1 bun. I found the tuna, which was a decent sale. It was 3 cans for $5. Our shelves get pretty empty pretty quickly, so I couldn't get rice that was on sale, so I just got regular rice. All right, so this is what I got. Not a lot, $65. So these sausages I want to do 2 different meals with, as well as the chicken. I found this chicken here. There's 3 in each bag. So this bag was $6.92 and this bag here was $5.71. They're just chicken legs. I was looking for a whole chicken, but I couldn't find any. So this is what I am going to work with, and I'm actually going to make 3 meals out of these chickens. So then I've got the bread and the buns. It was 2 for $5.50. So I got 2 of these for $5.50. And then I was going to get like celery, carrots, and beets, and then some frozen vegetables. But I actually found some of these on the clearance aisle, which if you can find your clearance produce, that's the way to go. So I got a bunch of pears that we can have with our breakfast or our lunch. I've got some peppers here. So it's $1.99 for these, 99 cents for these for the peppers. I got some onions and tomatoes for 99 cents. I got a thing of apples, and then I got the squash. All of these are perfectly fine. Like you can tell that they're fine. I think these peppers probably need to be done up like soon, but for the most part, all of this produce is perfectly fine. It's just they've got the new stock in, so these get put on clearance. So if you can find that at your grocery store, that is a big win. Take what you can there. So I got those. I got some carrots. The carrots were $2.48, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, $2.88, sorry. So unfortunately, there's only 4 carrots in there, but is what it is, I guess. And then we have the beets over here, which were $3.48. Okay, so those are my vegetables that I'm going to be using for the week. The carrots, the beets, the peppers, onions, and tomatoes, and the squash. And then my protein is going to be the sausage and the chicken. I also found this deal on the tuna, which was 3 for $5. So I can put that in a stir fry, or if you have pasta, you can put it in pasta. There's a really nice tuna noodle casserole dish you can make. I love making that. The cheese was on sale. It was $4.44. So I picked up a brick of that so that we can have some grilled cheese for lunch. And then I found some bananas. They were on sale for 58 cents a pound. So I did get a bunch of those. My kids love bananas. Great snack. We can have it with breakfast with our oatmeal. So obviously I got oatmeal there as well. And then I got peanut butter. So we can either have peanut butter toast or you can put peanut butter in your oatmeal. I also got some yogurt to put it in the oatmeal. So all of this for the week for family of 4 was $65.34. Okay, so that is what I am going to be working with for the week. And I will show you what I make. Okay, so this is breakfast for the week. It is oatmeal. I'm having a little bit of peanut butter. The kids will have some yogurt, and then I'm having a cut up pear, and so they have a choice of cut up pear, banana, or apple. But yeah, this is breakfast for the week. Nice and tasty with some protein and fruit. Okay, so here is lunch for the week. It is half a grilled cheese sandwich and some fruit. There's a choice of apples, pears, or bananas. If we happen to run out of cheese by the end of the week, it'll just be toast and peanut butter and some fruit. Hopefully the fruit lasts the week. I think it will. We'll probably just do half an apple. The pears are small, so we'll do a whole pear, but half an apple or half a banana each, and hopefully it will last us the whole week.
So for tonight, for day one, I am going to get my sausages done. I'm going to use up probably half of them. We're just going to do sausages and buns and some beets. So for this challenge, I am assuming that you also have your basic pantry staples like oil, maybe some flour, as well as salt, pepper, some seasonings. Also, if you're able to grow anything, any vegetables at all, that will help you so much. You can have some chickens in the backyard, get some eggs. It makes things so much easier. It just takes a little bit of that pressure off if you are having trouble with your grocery budget. So for my beets, I am just putting them in whole like this. I'm not doing anything to them. I'm going to boil them up, and then I'm going to peel them afterwards. And then I just serve them with a little bit of butter and salt. The kids love beets, so if you're worried about giving your children beets, they are sweet, lovely vegetable. My kids love them. Alright, so I put about half of my beets in there. I will do the other half with another meal later this week. So I'll just boil these until they're soft. You can stick a fork in them, and then you can peel them and serve them. Alright, so here is dinner for tonight. We've got 2 sausages and a couple of beets. We'll have leftovers for my husband to take tomorrow. If you're looking for a really cheap vegetable option, beets and root vegetables are the way to go. They are full of nutrients and they're cheap. So beets, I mean, we've got a full bag of beets for almost like $3.50, I think it was. So this is it's gonna fill us up for 2 meals and leftovers for my husband. So this is a great first dinner. My kids are quite happy to have sausages and beets. All right, guys, welcome to day 2. So today I am going to be making a stuffed squash with the leftover sausage that I have. So I'm going to take the sausage out of its casings, do it up with some onions and tomatoes and maybe a little bit of carrots, and then stuff the squash with it. I'll cook the squash up now, and I'll stuff the squash with the filling afterwards, and then top it with just a little bit of cheese. So that should be a really great dinner tonight. And the great thing about the squash is that I am actually going to save the seeds from my squash and roast them up so that we can have a nice little snack with them as well. All right, so I've got my squash here. All I'm going to do is cut it in half. All right, so that there is our squash. So I am just going to take a spoon, just spoon out the guts, and then later I'm going to separate these seeds and roast them up. Squash seeds are just the same as pumpkin seeds. They're full of iron and minerals and make a nice, they actually have a good amount of protein in them, so they make a nice filling snack. You just roast them up with a little bit of olive oil and some salt. I also like to put some nutritional yeast in there, adds a little bit of vitamin B12. So I'm going to get these in a roasting pan and get them in my oven at 450 degrees. Probably be about a half an hour at least until they're cooked enough. Alright, so to cook my squash, like I said, I'm just going to put them upside down in a pan here. I'm also going to put some water in here and cover them with tin foil. It's just a bit of water, not a lot. This helps them to steam, and I find it just helps them to cook easier. And pop this in my oven at 450 degrees. Okay, so while that's cooking, I am going to take my onions and tomatoes. I'm only going to take 1 onion from here, the big one here, and take that out of my clearance package, and I'm going to cut this up The tomato I'm going to add last, but I'm going to start getting this in my frying pan and cooking. All right, I decided to take one of my clearance peppers and add it in as well. So I just washed this. I'm just going to take the seeds out and then just dice it up into small pieces. All right, so for this recipe, I am going to take the remainder of this sausage out of the casing. So I am just going to take, I've got a serrated knife here, just cutting the casing open. Now I'll just peel it off and stick that in my frying pan and break it up.
All right, so there's all of our ingredients in the frying pan. So just break up the sausage. And then we'll just cook this up. And that will be our filling to put into our squash. Makes for a very nice, nutritious meal. I forgot I also wanted to add one of those tomatoes in. I did keep one of the other ones just in case we end up, I think we're probably going to do like tuna sandwiches at the end of the week. So I did keep that other tomato as it was the better looking tomato. But this just adds one more vegetable to the dish, and I am all about adding as many vegetables as I can into our cooking. All right, so my squash is done. So I'm going to take my filling, fill my squash, cover it in cheese, and then I'm going to stick it back in the oven just to crisp up a bit. And then I'm just going to serve it with some rice on the side. All right, so this is what the final squash looks like. I'm going to scoop some squash and some of the filling out and serve it with some rice. All right, so there is the final product. It looks delicious. And once again, there is leftovers for my husband for tomorrow for lunch.
All right, everybody, so we are on day 3. So today I'm going to cook up all of my chicken. So I'm actually going to cook up all of them. I have 6 chicken legs. So I will be cooking all of these, and then I'm actually going to make this into 3 different meals out of this chicken. So I'm just going to cook up all of the legs tonight and serve some of them. I'm going to keep 2, and then I'm also going to keep all of the bones and make a broth out of it for a soup for the 3rd meal. So right now I'll show you what I'm going to do with these. I'm also going to do some roasted root vegetables, and I'm going to make my own barbecue sauce out of condiments that you should have at home. All right, so for the barbecue sauce for my chicken, you use some ketchup. I always just eyeball this. So it depends on how much you need. So I'd say a half cup to a cup of ketchup. And then a couple tablespoons of mustard. If you had soy sauce, you could put some soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce in here. Worcestershire? Worcester? Not entirely sure how to say that properly. Probably, well, that much brown sugar. You can also use maple syrup. Maple syrup's really good in here, but I also know, my goodness, okay, I also know that maple syrup can also be really expensive. So I had 2 nice big hunks of brown sugar fall in here, so, you know, you can do it as sweet or as not sweet as you like. And then I just add a little bit of Montreal steak spice to mine. You can add whatever spices you want to your barbecue sauce. There we go. So then you just mix this up and slather it on.
So I'm going to slather on this barbecue sauce on 4 of these chickens, maybe 5, just because my husband is going to take one to work tomorrow. But I am going to save a couple of these chickens to do another dinner tomorrow. So I'm not going to worry about seasoning them. Now I'm just going to cut up some carrots and some beets, and I'm going to throw them in a pan here with a little bit of oil and some brown sugar, and I'm going to roast them up in my oven, 450 degrees, until they're nice and tender. I don't worry about the skins on the beets or my carrots when I do this, because when I roast them up, I don't notice any difference within the texture or anything like that. They come out really nice just as is. So I don't worry about wasting my time trying to skin them beforehand. All right, so here is the finished product, a nice roast leg of chicken and some roasted root vegetables. These are delicious. So I am going to use those bones to make a broth, and that chicken is going to be used tomorrow in another dish. All right, we are on day 3. So I am going to take all the chicken off of the leftover chicken legs, and I am going to get that cooked up in a bit of a stir fry with a very basic peanut sauce. Then I'm just going to serve it with rice. All right, so I've taken all of the chicken off of the bones, and this is what I have remaining. So I'm going to do this up in a nice peanut sauce with an onion and some peppers and serve it with a side of rice. And that will be our dinner for tonight. The peanut sauce is going to be a very basic peanut sauce because I don't have a lot of the ingredients. So I'll show you how I do that and whip up a nice easy dinner for tonight. All right, so I've got my onions, carrots, and pepper in the frying pan, and I'm going to cook these up while I make a peanut sauce, and then I'll put the chicken and the peanut sauce in together. All right, so here is my peanut sauce. Like I said, it is very basic. I have a cup of peanut butter, a couple tablespoons of water, and a couple tablespoons of vinegar. And if you have any seasonings like some cumin or ginger or some red pepper flakes, that would go really well in here. But I don't have those with this budget, so I left them out. So if you are hearing any whining or crying in the background of my videos, these guys are the reason why. We bred our German short-haired pointer, and these are her puppies. They are currently 5 weeks old, and they are playful, but they are also very noisy. So I've got my chicken in here, and I've added in my peanut sauce. I'm just going to let this cook a little bit longer, let all the flavors meld in, and then I'm going to serve it with some rice on the side. All right, here it is. This is smelling really good, and looking forward to having this tonight. All right, so I have got all of my chicken bones in some water here. I'm adding some salt, and then I've got my beet tops and my 1 carrot top added to the pot here. So I'm going to simmer this for about 6 hours and make a nice broth for a rice and maybe I can get a little bit more chicken off of those, but for a soup basically with some rice and carrots. All right, so it is day 5 and I am making a soup tonight. I'm going to boil those bones right now and make some broth. All right, so I've got my broth made, and I'm just going to get some onions and those carrots cut up, and there's a little bit of chicken that I was able to scavenge and put in here. But yeah, so onions, carrots, and rice, and we're just going to make a soup. All right, there is dinner. It is a little bit of chicken with some onions and carrots and rice in broth. So you can throw in whatever seasonings you have, and it should be tasty and at least very filling. We also have enough of this soup to last 2 nights. I made sure to make a nice big batch, and we had lots of carrots and rice left. So I made a nice big pot of broth, so we have enough of this soup for 2 nights. All right, so it is our last day, and I am just going to do something easy. I'm going to use that tuna up and make some tuna sandwiches. If you have mayo in your pantry, then you can certainly make tuna salad sandwiches with some mayo. If you do not, then just tuna on some bread will work. I'm going to do that with some pepper slices on the side. All right, so I am definitely down to the nitty gritty. We have a couple of buns left over, and we have some bread left over. It is going to
just do sandwiches for us, and that is it. So I will add some extra veggies to the side, and that will be our dinner for tonight.
All right, so there is our very humble dinner. We do have 3 cans of tuna though, so even though we'll run out of bread and buns, we definitely have a lot of tuna, so that will keep us satisfied for now.
All right, so that was the challenge for the week. I think we got some pretty good meals in there. With a budget, it always seems that there's a lot of repetition. So there was a lot of rice because that's what I had. That's what we could afford with this budget. And say it was potatoes, you'd be having potatoes a lot in the week, right? So with a budget meal, there's a lot of repetition, and I think that's okay as long as you can get creative and use it in a lot of different ways. I tried to do that this week, so I hope that gave you some ideas of what you can do with your budget. As always, if you can grow any food, even sprouts on your counter would be helpful. You can just do it in a mason jar. It is so simple. But if you can do anything for yourself, please try to do so because that can help with any budget. It just helps to take a bit of pressure off, knowing that you can have some food that you've been growing yourself. Also, if you are really in a tight spot, make sure you hit up that food bank. Make sure you go to your churches and see what they can do. There's a lot of different organizations out there that can help you. And if you happen to be in a spot where you are blessed with enough food that you can give, please make sure you give to your food bank. Especially this time of year, there are a lot of people in need. Well, that's it for me. If you are looking for some more budget meals, some more homesteading ideas, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I will have a lot more coming in the future. Hit a like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.